that the Pandavas who had so much of association, so they could manage being separated from the Supreme Lord. So this is a question that is actually put. So naturally, like many of us may think that we have heard so many Bhagavatam verses, but still we don't feel much. Like, what is this point of hearing once? So that is, for that, Prabhuji was explaining about this particular aspect. Hearing a pure Shravanam, like a pure Shravanam. So even once a pure Shravanam happens, so then it is very, very powerful actually. So to cite the importance of this, he cited an example of a devotee who was there during Prabhupada's time, like who was served in the temple during Prabhupada's time. Later on, he left Krishna consciousness, and then he was trying to live his life as a person outside the Krishna conscious moment. And once some devotees happened to meet him, so that time he told, "You people ruined my life. I'm not able to enjoy material life." So like Prabhu was mentioning, this is like, he has heard at least once pure chanting, that he cannot enjoy material life. So this is like one example that he mentioned, and also a Shastric example. Shastric example means from the Acharya Parampara. So he mentioned about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In his one of his articles he mentions that he was a Vaishnava. So, there are three levels of Vaishnavas that is mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who chants the names, and then one who chants constantly, and one in whose association others chant the names of the Lord. Right? So, in this connection, he was mentioning that chanting once or hearing once what is mentioned here is of pure quality. In fact, when in the Kunti Maharani's prayers, so one point, this particular aspect of again chanting the names of the Lord actually comes. So there, Srila Prabhupada mentions, when Draupadi's Vastrahat was about to happen, or it was happening. So that time she called out to the Lord. So and Prabhupada makes a nice statement. So there is a quality to this calling out is also there. So there is a quality of utterance of the names of the Lord is also there. So if the name of the Lord is uttered, in pure form, so then it actually attracts the person. It actually attracts a true revelation of the Supreme Lord. If there is a true revelation of the Supreme Lord that happens. In one of the other purports, now I am not able to remember, Srila Prabhupada mentions that if you chant the names of the Lord nicely, so it is equivalent to having darshan of the Lord, and it will nourish you, or it will gratify all the different senses. The sense of sight will be gratified, the sense of hearing will be gratified, the sense of smell will be gratified, the sense of touch will be gratified. When chanting, sound vibration, all sense of smell will be gratified. So, but it is a form of Krishna. The form of Krishna can completely satisfy all the senses. So this is something that Srila Prabhupada very emphatically writes, in one place. I don't remember the reference in Bhagavatam, one of the purports, he actually mentions this. So if there is a manifestation of Krishna that happens, so then it is all attractive. Krishna is all attractive. So Krishna just attracts, in fact, in the True Goswami's composition, he mentions Sarvendriyanam within, right? So it just, the holy name, when it is chanted in a pure form, it just wins over all the senses and just becomes like a king, and it just sits as the king of all the senses in the system. So with that background, so here we see that the translation again, the intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they have been intimately associated with this person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, sleeping, sitting, and lying with him. So it's like a very amazing this one. So this can also be told about the Kauravas as well. So when the Pandavas were there in the kingdom, so even the Kauravas were also there. Even Duryodhana also had opportunity to converse with him, sometimes dine with him, and many other things. All this Since at some point in time, here it is spoken about only one association. So Duryodhana had many associations also. So but what is the problem? What is the problem that Duryodhana is not feeling separation from Krishna? Rather, no, he wants Krishna to be separated permanently. So basically this is our problem. So that was Duryodhana's thought. Now what was the difference of Pandavas dining with him, Pandavas speaking with him, and then Duryodhana's speaking with Krishna and things like that? What's the difference? What's the difference? Why this difference is there? So all of us are chanting 16 rounds, but all of us are going to get the same result. Just like Duryodhana and Pandavas got different results, that's extremes. So we will not be there in the extreme of Duryodhana. So we don't want to harm Krishna in any ways and things like that. But then we are also not to the level of the Pandavas. So we are somewhere in between. So we like the way in which we are actually approaching the Supreme Lord, and also the faith, how much of faith we are putting in the Supreme Lord, and how much purely we are able to remember the Supreme Lord. So all these things also matters. So that is why whenever we see during the time of initiation, what all vows that we take during the time of initiation? Many of you are initiated also. What all vows we take during the time of initiation? Chant 16 rounds. Then follow further given principles. Then serve the Vishnu Shri. Avoid offenses. Okay. Essentially speaking, do Niraparad Bhajan. Bhajan means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and then Mission also includes Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam and all those things, right? And we have to do that without committing offenses. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he was traveling in South India, so many times, so we get amazing opportunity like we enroll people for Gita course where they stay for say like 9 weeks or 18 weeks or something like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to just meet somebody and then pass on. So he has only split seconds to preach to. And he would just say, just chant the names of Krishna and don't commit offense. So this much only like he would say. This contains the entire philosophy. So we should act in a dharmic way and we should not commit offenses. So this is the entire sum and substance of the entire philosophy. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he mentions about this aspect of Durdaiva Mihajani Nanuranga, so that I'm so unfortunate that I'm not attracted to the names of the Lord. So he gives an explanation, it is due to the offenses. And elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, and many places Srila Prabhupada also writes, one is offenses, another is over contemplation on the material subjects. So now, if I am spending my time on YouTube reels and various different things, and then expect that I want to become attached to the holy name, I am chanting 16 rounds also. So because of my fixed sadhana exposure to YouTube, my attention will not come actually. Because there is a material exposure that is there. If there is a sufficient material exposure, or if there is offense, so then attraction towards the holy name will not actually occur. So one devotee nicely mentioned that if somebody comes to your home and then he nicely, pleasingly speaks to you, at the same time he just slaps your child. Will you encourage or will you like to speak to him or have say like the better like I'm going to do. So in the same way, offenses means what? Krishna likes his devotees, Krishna likes the scriptures, Krishna likes the holy name, Krishna likes the holy Dham. So if we inappropriately deal with these things, if you analyze the 10 offenses, this is what actually has inappropriately dealing with Krishna's dear entities. So if we deal with them like that, so then Krishna will say like, so never we will get the attraction towards the Lord. If we go closer to the Lord, we will get attraction towards the Lord. If we are far away from the Lord, we will not develop attraction towards the Lord. In order to go closer to the Lord, the standard processes is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and all that Mudam of Bhakti. And along with that, we should also not mess around with Krishna's other dear devotees and things like that. So once I remember my spiritual master was mentioning in one class that if a devotee were to say that Krishna, I like you so much, No, I want to come back to you and I want to serve you. Just after passing the die and I was like, no, that is just irritating me. Just usko nikal do, main aa jata hu. So then Krishna was like, material world mein kuch ho. When you like me, when you like all my people, then you can come to me. No, so that is what is Krishna's proposition. It is not that I like Krishna, so Krishna will also like me. So, I have to like Krishna's all paraphernalia. I have to like Krishna's all devotees. I need to like everything that is in connection with Krishna. That is when Krishna would like to have a relationship with me. Right? So, it's very important that one's hearing, which is mentioned over here, is that the pure form of hearing where he could experience the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of God. So when he experiences the manifestation of Supreme Personality of God, एक बार वो taste मिल गया, so then he will actually hanker for it again and again. So that is very important. So in fact, Prabhu was mentioning there is another term. So there is Vaishnava, then Vaishnava and Vaishnava Kama. So like the three things that we, one who once chants or once hears, and then one who constantly chants, and one whose association others chant. There is one term below that is Vaishnava Praya. Vaishnava Praya means he's trying to be a Vaishnava. So like most of us come under the category of Vaishnava Praya. So like even once, because if we hear once, if we actually experience in fact in the Nectar of Devotion, this particular point is being noted that the gopis, they talk amongst themselves that if you at all have any desire to enjoy the material life, what is it?
Don't go to the bank of Yamuna.
Don't go to the bank of Yamuna, specifically Keshiga, and specifically that guy who was in pre-poet form was blowing his flute. उसका flute एक बार सुनेंगे ना, like material life में पूरा अच्छा चल रहा है. So that is this one. We know like how difficult it is to convince people to follow for regulated principles. Like Bhakti steps में एक step में एक करते हैं. Avoid drinking and avoid illicit sex, avoid intoxication, gambling and things like that and all. So it takes a lot. So, but if somebody happens to hear one pure holy name of the Lord, or somebody happens to chant one time the pure utterance of the names of the Lord, immediately, he would get the experience of the Supreme Lord. So that experience of the Supreme Lord is so amazing that it makes a person completely forget about the material experience. So, his great Guruji told a few years back, like he mentioned, when in the easiest layout, like when he was conducting this Bhagavatam seminar, he was mentioning about a phenomenon. So he was mentioning about Vrindavan bubble, he mentioned. So, it is like when Prabhupada went to the West and when he was performing his kirtan, so there was a bubble around him. There was a particular distance around him. It's kind of a very critical boundary actually. So anybody enters into that vicinity, vicinity of Srila Prabhupada. So they may be like drunkards, they may be like having complete, so much of addictions and all those things. When they come inside into that bubble, they'll say like, ये तो इतना अच्छा नहीं, like ये स्वामी जी जो कर रहा है पता नहीं, like कीर्तन. So it is, they don't know the terminology also what it is like. ये स्वामी जी जो कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत amazing है. So like they would just give up their bad habits and just jump into Sankirtan. That's the kind of effect, like Prabhupada used to carry. And Guruji told, like years later I settled in Vrindavan and the same kind of an environment I could see in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada literally carried Vrindavan everywhere and then he had that bubble around him. That anybody enters that bubble, so like immediately they feel that kind of an experience. So they could experience Krishna. So what is the sign of experiencing Krishna? So always here also to see the intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become free from bad materialistic association. So always this two aspects that is mentioned, understanding Krishna and developing detachment. So regarding this, there is a nice shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells that Bhakti Pareshan Bhava Virakti Anyata Charishatrika Eka Sada Prapadya Manasya Yatashtakashu Tushti Tushti Shudapayam. So Bhakti, or this is defined as increasing attachment towards Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam and things like that, Angas of Bhakti. And Paresha Anubhava is direct experience of the Lord. So direct experience of the Lord happens, like initially what we are able to see and perceive is matter. So slowly, gradually, the perception of spirit comes, and slowly, gradually, the perception of Paramatma, and slowly, gradually, the perception of the Bhagavan feature of the Lord. So in this way, like Paresha Anubhava, the direct experience of the Lord, slowly, gradually increases, right? And then Virakti. So like or detachment from the material things. Right? So these three things are the result of Pratyamanasya. So one who executes the 6 angas of surrender very nicely. So he can see these three things progressively and increasingly, it's increasing basically. And the example that is given is of Yadasya Pushti Pushti Shudabhaya Anudasha. Anudasha, with every morsel of food that we take, just now we had, nice, I think, a very nice Sri Vaishnava bhojan, and I was also very happy, devotees of the Lord, Vaishnavas, they, with lot of achar and things like that. Achar means not the pickle, samachar. So they are, very nice people, like local Dhamvasis. So they are prepared, and then they offered for their Ishtadev, and they brought this wonderful prasadam for us, and it's so nourishing actually. So when we have with every morsel of food that we actually accept, so Pushti, Pushti and Shudapaya, three things actually happens. Pushti is satisfaction, Pushti is nourishment, and Shudapaya is reduction of hunger. And Pushti or the satisfaction is compared to our increasing attachment to the Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord, or Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, or the Angas of Bhakti. So that is considered to be the satisfaction aspect. And nourishment aspect is direct experience of the Lord. So we are able to perceive the soul, the super soul, and Paramatma, the Bhagavan. So gradually, over a period of time, it should increase. And then detachment from material existence. So one may follow any process of yoga. The standard parameters for measuring the advancement is Jnana Vairagya. And in terms of when we perform Bhakti Yoga, so we also add the component of Bhakti. So like Jnana Vairagya and Bhakti. So these three components are the measurement to see if somebody is making progress in Krishna consciousness. So that's how we have also designed our Bhakti steps where they have to take up increasing amount of names of the Lord, chanting the names of the Lord, and they also have to study Srimad Bhagavatam and hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures and give an examination on that, and they also have to give up the bad things, detachment from the material world. The initial measurement of detachment from the material world is giving up intoxication, making illicit sex, gambling, right? So all these things. So when somebody is able to come to the point of giving up these things, that means he is really getting nourishment. Somewhere else he is getting that source of nourishment. So that's where he is able to give up his material attachments, right? And so this is the way of progress. This is the way we actually measure the progress. And later on, the measure of progress is also there in the form of Muni Bhuta Bhakti and Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti and Kevala Bhakti. So here it's first reduction of adharma is being calculated. So then after that, establishment in dharma is calculated. Then after that, reduction of dharma is also calculated. And then exclusively being fixed in only bhakti dharma. So reduction of dharma and then exclusively being fixed in bhakti dharma is calculated. So in that way, bhakti steps doesn't finish at initiation, second initiation, uske baad mein bhi hai. So many more steps are there. So finally we have to come to the step of Nirantara Nama. So constant chanting of the names of the Lord. So before we quit the body, quit our material body. So all of us should resolve that we should come to that step. Tabhi jaake back to the world jayenge. So then we will not be able to go back to the spiritual world. So because spiritual world is like a fiery place. If we are on the fire, then we can enter into that fire. So but if we are थोड़ा बहुत भी ठंडा है हम enter नहीं कर पाएंगे actually. So it is very very important that we gradually increase in our commitment to Krishna consciousness. Right? So here we see that Pandavas had a first-hand experience, And they were not having an experience like Duryodhana. So for Duryodhana, like, no, it is like, even though he saw Krishna, he never saw Krishna basically. So if he has seen Krishna, he would not be like interested in, securing a big kingdom and things like that and all. In fact, the Duryodhana psychology or mentality is that he like, I will be the winner at any cost. I mean, like, war means you may win, you may lose. So then how you can say like this? No, देखिए, right now I am in charge. I am in the kingdom. मैं सब संभाल रहा हूँ. And I have Bhishma, Drona and all these like very very powerful personalities like under my command and like I am really very powerful. So मान लीजिए अभी battle is happening, right? So if I win, I will continue to be the king. If I lose, all the glorious assets of Hastinapur will be finished. And these Pandavas will be able to rule over some graveyard. That's all. मरने तक मैं ही राजा रहूँगा. किसी भी हाल में मरने तक मैं ही राजा रहूँगा. So like it was, that is the kind of mentality of Duryodhana. Right? So this is like very very sadistic kind of mentality. If anybody has got darshan of the Supreme Lord, he will be thinking about everybody's welfare. He will be actually meditating about Loka Kalyan. Like in fact, Prahlad Maharaj, that prayer is there, Swastiastu Vishwasya Kalam Prasidatam Jayatu Bhutam Manasya Bhadram Bhagata Aveshyatam Matira. Very nice prayer. So it is like Swastiastu Vishwasya Kalam Prasidatam. Right? So like he is mentioning that may there be auspiciousness everywhere. May even the envious people also become, may they think about others' welfare, right? So this is the effect of a person who has actually had a darshan of the Supreme Personality of God, right? So definitely like Duryodhana, in no angle he has got darshan of the Supreme Lord. Maybe we can cite a lot of past times where both of them interacted. Duryodhana had interaction with the Supreme Lord. And we can also prove a lot of instances especially like temple devotees can prove a lot of instances like हमारा CCTV में हर दिन recorded है, हम 16 वाला करते हैं. But that doesn't matter actually. So effect is what? If the heart is getting purified, if natural attraction towards Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord is coming, and the natural perception of the soul, super soul and the Supreme Lord is occurring, and the natural detachment from the material sense gratification is occurring. So if this is not happening, so then we should all see like somebody may say, okay, fine, you cannot ask any questions. Means, किसको क्या पूछ सकते हैं इसको like we have not paid anything, and people also have not taken any charge, so वो deliver करते नहीं करते like ज़्यादा कुछ पूछ नहीं सकते. ये जो whatever they are proposing that we will give, if they don't give like we cannot ask because we are not paid for it. ऐसा नहीं है. तो हमारा बात मान के आप you have given a meeting intoxication. It's a big payment actually. It's a very big payment. So like now, if Jnana Vairagya Bhakti doesn't occur, you should question that कि like प्रभु जी आप तो promise किए ये सब चीज मिलेगा नहीं, हमको नहीं मिला. So like what is the science? Whether this Krishna consciousness is it a science? Whether it works? If it works, why this Jnana Vairagya Bhakti doesn't come to me? So one should actually ask for these things. And the superiors, or the senior devotees, their responsibility is that to facilitate devotees' growth in the Jnana Vairagya and Bhakti. Right? So this is very important, this one. So if at all the senior devotees are not able to, at least they will connect to further seniors like who can actually facilitate and things like that. So in this way, it's very very important, this parameters of advancement. So all of us should be like very eager to make progress in Krishna consciousness in this way. And one nice aspect of hearing about Krishna, so there are many descriptions of the Supreme Lord that is there. So but still we consider the descriptions that is mentioned in the Parampara, like the descriptions of the Supreme Lord, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. If you see, there is a nice shloka in the Vedas, or in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that is cited actually. Vede Ramayanascha Purane Bharate Tathas Adam Antecha Madhyecha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. So from the beginning to middle to end, the entire body of Vedic literatures is glorifying the Supreme Lord Hari. Now even in Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned that Vedeshta Sarve Mahameva Vedya Vedanta Veda Vedeva. So like of all the Vedas, Krishna to be known, and Krishna is the author and Krishna is the final goal, of the Vedas. So everywhere Krishna's glorification is there. But an interesting thing to note in the first canto of Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva had glorified Krishna, glorified Sri Hari in many different Vedic literatures. And as a result of that, his spiritual master came and appreciated it, right? No, he came to chastise him. So why did he write such a glorification of the Lord? No, why is it that if this shloka is true, Vede Ramayana Staiva Purane Bharate Gata, Adam Antecha Madhyecha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. Hari is glorified everywhere. So why is, for glorification of Sri Hari, the spiritual master has to chastise the disciples? This is like a very important question actually. So the answer is, recently one of my superiors was explaining this particular concept. He made a very wonderful point. It specifically did not, the class was not on this particular topic, but it came as a side note. He was mentioning we should not glorify the Supreme Lord like the Puranas do. And it's like, then the question came, that what is this? We should not glorify the Supreme Lord like Puranas do. So the Puranas also glorified, the Vedas also glorified. After hearing the glorification of the Supreme Lord, one will not come to the conclusion that now I must surrender to the Supreme Lord, I must engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, and I should give up all other nonsense. So that kind of a conclusion doesn't arise. So, now he was mentioning this point that because the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these literatures, they clarify the Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana very clearly. The reader of these literatures, they can very clearly come to understand that my only purpose in life is to render service to Krishna. So that clarity actually comes. But when we read the same glorification of the Supreme Lord in the Puranas and the Vedas and things like that, so we don't get to this conclusion. So that is the speciality of these literatures, which are given to us as the Bhakti literatures, where some of the Abhidheya Prayojana is very nicely clarified. So glorification of the Supreme Lord alone is not sufficient. It must be done in such a way that the hearer commits to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So that kind of a shravanam is very important. So this is something that Vidwan who was mentioning this about this particular point. So it was so nourishing to hear about. So Vyasadeva had written other literatures, but after hearing them, one was not encouraged to dedicate himself to the service of the Supreme Lord. So, but the Bhagavatam is such an amazing thing. In fact, I was asking, one of our devotees, Krishna Kadamurti, many of you know, he quit his job and he was taken full-time service and things like that. So, I asked, what did inspire you? What actually happened? So then he told, see, every day I used to read 1 hour of Bhagavatam without fail. And that was it. The natural thought process becomes how can I dedicate myself to the service of the Supreme Lord? So the effect of proper glorification of the Supreme Lord means the hearer should commit for the service of the Supreme Lord. So that is the glorification that is done by Srila Prabhupada. So if we hear from Srila Prabhupada in the form of Bhaktivedanta purports, in the form of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, it's so very powerful. Hearing from Srila Prabhupada, we cannot imagine. When Gurujan Guru explained about that Vrindavan bubble. So I'm thinking during Prabhupada's time it would have been there pass mein jaake sara kaam khatam ho gaya. Abhi to itna ragadna pad raha है. So it is so difficult to make advancement. So, but when such powerful personality, a great acharya of that stature, when such personalities are there, so that's why we should never lose opportunity to take association. When anytime senior sannyasis come, senior devotees come, we should always take that opportunity. Because how much we can make advancement, much more, 100 times, 1,000 times we can make advancement just by coming in contact with, like senior devotees. We know when His Holiness Indulur Maharaj came, like last time, specifically last to last time, it's like so much wild kirtan happened, so much like amazing kirtan, hours and hours, like, it's like almost more than an hour it actually went, so it was so amazing. Can we ever imagine that kind of a kirtan, like, all of us put together, like, we are there here. So, but still we cannot imagine such kind of a kirtan, right? And so Ms. Bhakanath Maharaj also came, what is it, in PLH, we had a program. So that time was amazing, amazing sadhu sangha actually. So it is very important, when such powerful souls who have dedicated their lives and who are immersed in the process of Krishna consciousness, so we take a little bit of association from them. It makes a lot of difference. That's why it is mentioned, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, we have a little bit of association with great souls. It makes a lot of difference actually. Right? So, now this is very important for us personally. And in terms of attracting the conditioned souls from the material world, so the same logic applies to that. So if we can facilitate even once, hearing, purely or chanting purely, so then, so they will feel, very much nourished. Basically, everybody is looking for this, Bhakti Pareshan or this Pareshan, direct experience of the Supreme Lord. So if through the Shravanam Kirtanam, if we can, facilitate experience of the Supreme Lord, so then that becomes a very amazing wisdom. The experience or the darshan is through the darshana, the standard darshana that we have, through the system of the Vedic literatures, and by reciting the pure purports of the great acharyas, so we will be able to attract the conditioned souls. Because once Krishna becomes manifest, Krishna is so attractive, he will just attract. But till the time, they are not got the experience of the Supreme Lord. So what will happen? So there is one nice shloka I was just meditating about. So it is in a different context, but it applies in preaching as well. It's a very famous shloka. Taten kampam susamikshamana munjadeva kritam vikana Hidva vasur vidadhan namaste jive mukti padesh sahayaka. So this is a shloka which talks about what qualities of a devotee attracts the Supreme Lord. So this is basically, you can say that it is the attracting principle. It's like a very powerful attracting principle. So the attracting principle is that, like a preacher, he has a deep desire to serve the Lord, and he wants everybody to take up Krishna consciousness. And he's determined also, I will make people Krishna conscious. So, but then he's having great hopes that people will become Krishna conscious, and he is having very less expectations. So why less expectations? Because he knows that I am a useless instrument. Like if I reach, who will become a devotee? It is like a very, I am expecting too much. It feels like that. And then he becomes very grateful for anybody does anything. Like even if somebody takes up one round of chanting, or if he agrees to come to the our Bhakti Center and then attend a program or something like that, he becomes extremely grateful. Because he feels that maine jitna kiya, it is useless. I cannot trigger any attraction towards Krishna, because I myself don't have any attraction to Krishna. But then this person listening to me, he has come to attend a program, or he has agreed to start chanting, or he has committed himself for 4 rounds, 10 rounds, 16 rounds and things like that. So why should such a thing happen? And he becomes very grateful to the Supreme Lord that I am a useless instrument, but even through me, you are delivering other people. So in this way, he becomes very grateful to this one. So in this shloka also, we see that a devotee is humble, and he has hope against the hope that he will attain the Supreme Lord, but he never demands the Supreme Lord that you deliver me now, and he is ready to wait for any amount of time, right? So that attracts the Supreme Lord. In the same way, this can attract the conditioned soul also, because this combination of qualities is very powerful. It's very magnetic actually. So if somebody does welfare for somebody, like a new person, and then you facilitate, you be a transparent via medium to communicate the Vedic literatures or the message of Srila Prabhupada, message of Sri Krishna, to the people. And then in return, what is their expectation? So expectation is, आप भक्त बन गया तो अच्छा है. So that is our expectation. Our expectation is कि like आप माला पकड़िए और माला बढ़ाइए and things like that. And if the person says no, like you are asking me to chant 8 rounds, I can only 1 round. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. बहुत धन्यवाद. मेरे इतना भी expect नहीं किया. बहुत धन्यवाद. So then he sees that the devotee is so humble and he is grateful for even a small step the other person is taking. So the person becomes completely get bored over and don't bother like kitna wala karna hai, like no sola wala karna. So like so because this is very greatly attractive, if somebody is very determined, somebody is a missionary that he wants to please the Supreme Lord, and in order to please the Supreme Lord, he wants to give Krishna consciousness to everybody. And if people whatever they take up, even little bit, he becomes so very happy that okay, they are getting closer to Krishna. I am so grateful that they are taking up the Krishna consciousness. So in that way, we can actually facilitate, and so our job is to create environment. And who is supposed to attract the conditioned souls? Krishna is supposed to attract. He is our attraction. So we are just a bag of blood, stool, urine, bones and things like that. Original state they are the most obnoxious actually. So but Krishna is very attractive. Krishna is very attractive. So our job is to somehow or other be attracted to Krishna by engaging in the angas of bhakti without committing offenses, and facilitate experience of Krishna to others as well. So that's our only job description as a devotee. That in order to do this, so we may run a center, we may take a yatra, we may do so many other things. But the primary thing is that somehow or other we should be attracted to Krishna, and we should help others to get attracted to Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So any questions, comments we can take? We have another 10-15 minutes. You have to sit somewhere. Yeah, you can ask.